What's up guys, Miss Pass here, back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video, and today I have got a very awesome video for you guys. I am bringing you a kit reveal of one of the most anticipated characters ever in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and that is Jedi Rey. Now, her official name in-game is not going to be Jedi Rey, it's going to be Rey Jedi Training, because she hasn't finished her training yet. She does wear the Resistance tag and a tank tag. She is missing that elusive Jedi tag, though, but, you know, being in training might explain it. Her final stats are subject to change, this is beta gameplay, but she is a high damage tank that has a respectable amount of health and protection with some interesting evasion mechanics, and we'll get to that later. Her basic is called Connected Strikes. It deals physical damage to a target enemy. The damage is increased by 25% for each of the following conditions: if Rey has no debuffs and is buffed, and if the target has no buffs and is debuffed. You'll get a 25% increase for each of those conditions, which definitely has a huge impact on the amount of damage this ability does. When you couple that with her uniques that we'll talk about a little bit later in this video, this ability has just huge potential. Her first special ability, Defiant Smash, deals physical damage to a target enemy and inflicts healing immunity for 2 turns. This effect can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. That's pretty nifty. Then she will target another Resistance ally, resistance only, and dispel all their debuffs, call them to assist, and grant them Foresight for 2 turns. This does have a 5-turn cooldown, but this ability is awesome. And this ability, actually, might give you a good reason to give BB-8 that Zeta that I guarantee a lot of you probably haven't dumped on him. I know I haven't, and that ability to call in BB-8 for an assist, and if he's your only Resistance ally, then Rey is his only Resistance ally, which means he's going to call Rey in for the assist when he attacks at a turn with the assist. So it's a good way to get a 3 basic attack there, because you're going to be able to get your BB-8 attack along with Rey's special attack, and then whatever Resistance ally BB-8 calls in. So that is a really nifty ability, but you gotta remember, you can only call in a Resistance ally with that ability. Her second special ability, Mind Trick. Now this is a variation of old Ben's Mind Trick, and it dispels all buffs on a target enemy and inflicts ability block, daze, offense down, and speed down for 2 turns. For each buff inflicted, remove 10% turn meter, which can't be resisted. For each debuff resisted, remove 20% turn meter, which can't be resisted. For each active Resistance ally, gain 15% turn meter. This attack can't be evaded. By not being able to be evaded, that attack basically will shoot through Foresight and strip turn meter and inflict debuffs on any target you're trying to hit, which is extremely useful if you're trying to get that ability block or daze on a target that has Foresight. Alternatively, you can use this ability on a target that has Tenacity up and get the maximum benefit of the turn meter removal. So that ability is really nifty and can be used a few different ways in very strategic situations. Her leader ability is called Inspirational Presence and is actually pretty interesting. Resistance allies have plus 30% critical chance and plus 30% critical damage. When they score a critical hit, they have a 70% chance to inflict Expose for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. Resistance allies also gain 10% turn meter when an enemy is exposed. When Resistance allies use a special ability, all exposed enemies lose 5% turn meter, this effect can't be resisted, and if the Resistance ally has no debuffs, reduce their cooldowns by 1. Now that ability does have a Zeta upgrade, and the Zeta is essentially everything that happens whenever a Resistance ally uses a special ability. So when you're comparing this Zeta upgrade to, say, Finn for Resistance, since that's pretty much who you're going to be comparing it to, it is a bit of a trade-off. You still get the turn meter gain whenever an enemy is exposed, but you don't get the turn meter reduction, which is what you may be looking for on exposed targets, especially with the amount of exposes that go out on a Resistance squad. So you might find yourself actually wanting to throw the Zeta out on Rey, and hopefully we'll actually get a chance to play with Rey on our test accounts so that we can test that Zeta compared to Finn's and really get a feel of whether her Zeta upgrade is a valid replacement for Finn, or if it's not going to be quite as good, especially for PvE. The biggest question I think for a lot of players is going to be, is the turn meter reduction worth it? In my opinion, I would probably save it for the time being because she does have a couple of other Zeta upgrades. Her first unique Virtuous Protector when another ally suffers a debuff, or when a Resistance ally gains secret intel, Rey gains 8% turn meter. When Rey suffers a debuff, she has a 40% chance to dispel all debuffs on herself. The Zeta upgrade to that ability is the 40% chance to dispel all debuffs whenever she suffers a negative status effect. So, a debuff. Negative status effects, I think turn meter is considered a negative status effect, so obviously if she gets a turn meter reduction, it's not going to dispel all turn meter or all debuffs. At least that's not the way it reads to me anyway. That Zeta upgrade may be worth it if you find yourself using Rey on a team that, or against enemies that inflict a lot of debuffs. So I could see her being very useful in a light side territory battle because of that annoying ability block. You definitely do not want Rey getting ability block because that is the most obnoxious negative status effect on the planet. I swear, I hate that negative. I hate getting ability blocked. It sucks so bad. Her second unique ability is very, very in-depth. It's called Insight. At the start of each encounter, Rey gains Foresight until she evades. Rey recovers 5% health and protection when she does evade. At the end of Rey's turn, Rey gains Foresight until she evades. No turn limit there. If Rey has Foresight, she gains critical damage up until she is damaged. Not until she evades, until she's damaged. And if Rey has crit damage up, she gains offense up as well until she is damaged. So basically, as long as Rey is not getting hit, she's going to keep that Foresight up. And as long as she has Foresight up, she's going to keep that crit damage up and offense up, which is going to increase her lethality by a very substantial amount. All of those really bad, really hard basic crits that you were seeing were all done with that offense up and crit damage up. Now granted, she is getting the small crit damage bonus from her leader ability, but I don't know how she's modded in all this gameplay, so she may be modded for crit damage, she may not be, so I don't know, I can't tell you right now, but I do know this. When she fights the Night Sisters, she does not get to keep that Foresight up very often, which is pretty interesting. So this might be a little telling on how to possibly get around Jedi training Rey and actually defeat her. I'll bet that you could probably beat Rey with the Night Sisters. So that'd be pretty interesting, especially since, you know, those damage over time effects may consider that maybe constituting the damage that keeps her from getting crit damage up and offense up. Now, there are a couple of things to note with that unique. Her Zeta upgrade from that unique gives her the offense up if she already has crit damage up. At the start of each encounter, Rey gains Foresight until she evades, and whenever she evades, recovers 5% health and protection. So the Zeta on that ability gives her a very, very good boost, not only to survivability with the Foresight at the beginning of every encounter, but also with the offense up whenever she has crit damage up. So that is a 50% increase on damage. Offense up is a plus 50% damage increase. So that is a very worthwhile Zeta. If I were to rank all three of her Zetas in order and value, I would definitely rank Insight at the top of my Zeta value, and then I would probably rank her first unique, the Virtuous Protector ability. I would probably rank that number 2, and then I would probably Zeta her leader last. Mostly because if I'm going to be using Resistance, it's probably for PvE anyway. If I'm going to be using Resistance PvE, it's probably during the tank raid in phases 2 and phase 4. she cannot strip turn meter from the tank, so the turn meter reduction isn't as great of a value for me, but it may be for you. I could possibly see this being used in Phase 3 of the tank raid, so I'll leave it up to some of the other game changers who are a little bit more of the tank raid pros to go and delve into that theory crafting, but that about does it for my Rey Jedi training kit reveal, guys. I really hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and of course follow me on Twitter. I'm a heck of a lot more active there than I am on Facebook. Join my Discord server to continue the conversation, and of course guys, I'll catch you later.